back, everyone, to the Growth Mindset Show. I'm your host, Matt, and today we have a truly special episode that I know is going to make an impact on your life. Whether you're tuning in for the first time or you've been with us on this journey for a while, today's episode is going to challenge how you think, how you live, and how you can unlock your greatest potential. Why? Because we're diving deep into the incredible power of the growth mindset and how it can transform your life from the inside out. Now, we've all heard the term growth mindset being thrown around, especially in personal development circles. But what does it really mean? More importantly, how can adopting a growth mindset shift your approach to life, to business, to your personal goals, and to overcoming challenges? These are big questions, and today we're going to break them down step by step. A growth mindset, in essence, is the belief that our most basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. Brains and talent are just the starting point. It's the foundation for learning, for resilience, and for becoming the best version of yourself. It's the opposite of a fixed mindset, which believes that abilities are static, that you're either good at something or you're not. Think about it. How many opportunities have we missed simply because we've told ourselves, I'm not good at this, or this is just how I am? But today we're going to learn how to shift that thinking. And who better to teach us about this transformative shift than one of the greatest personal development coaches of all time, Jim Rohn. Now, if you've ever studied personal growth, if you've ever listened to a motivational speaker or attended a seminar, you've probably heard of this legendary man. Jim Rohn has inspired millions of people around the world with his wisdom, his practical insights, and his philosophy on life and success. Jim is more than a speaker, he's a pioneer in the world of personal development. He's mentored some of the greatest names in business and self-improvement. And today I have the absolute privilege of sitting down with him to talk about how a growth mindset can change everything. So without further ado, let's welcome the man himself, Jim Rohn. Jim, thank you so much for being here. It's an honor to have you on the show.
Thank you, Matt. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. And I'm excited to share what I've learned over the years about mindset, growth, and personal development.
Absolutely. I can't think of anyone better to speak on this topic. Now, Jim, before we dive into the nuts and bolts of the growth mindset, I'd love to hear your take on it. In your years of experience working with people from all walks of life, how do you define the growth mindset?
Well, Matt, it all starts with how we perceive our own potential. A growth mindset is about the belief that we can learn, we can grow, and we can improve. I've always believed that success isn't something you chase, it's something you attract by becoming more valuable. And that journey of becoming more valuable, it's rooted in a growth mindset. The idea that you can always get better, that you can always learn more, and that there are always opportunities to develop new skills and new disciplines. It's about constantly evolving as a person instead of believing that where you are today is where you'll always be. You see, Matt, one of the key lessons I've learned is that life doesn't get better by chance, it gets better by change. And change happens when we decide to step into new possibilities, new learning experiences, and new challenges. That's what a growth mindset is all about, embracing the discomfort that comes with learning, knowing that it's leading to progress.
Powerful words, Jim. I love how you said that life doesn't get better by chance, but by change. It's such a simple truth, but so many of us get stuck waiting for life to improve without realizing that we have the power to make it happen.
Exactly. And the great thing is, Matt, a growth mindset is something anyone can develop. It's not something you're born with or without. It's a decision. And once you make that decision, your entire life can change for the better.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what we're going to dive into today, how to cultivate that growth mindset and unlock the potential that's already within us. We're just getting started, folks. Stay with us as we explore the practical steps to developing a growth mindset, how to overcome the common challenges that hold people back, and the habits that will fuel your personal growth. All right, let's get into it. Stick around, because when we come back, Jim will be breaking down the key habits and disciplines that can help you develop a powerful growth mindset. We'll be right back after this short break. Jim, now that we've touched on the general idea of a growth mindset, I want to dig deeper. You've spent decades mentoring people, transforming lives, and helping them reach their potential. In your experience, how would you personally define a growth mindset?
Well, Matt, a growth mindset to me is one of the most powerful ideas in personal development. It's the belief, and I do emphasize the word belief, that you are not limited by your current abilities, your circumstances, or your past. It's the understanding that you can improve, you can learn, and you can evolve, no matter where you are today. You see, Matt, I've always believed that success is something you attract by the person you become. And to become that person, to truly reach your potential, you have to adopt the mindset that you can always grow, you can always improve, A growth mindset says I'm not there yet, but I'm willing to put in the work to get there. It's about embracing challenges, seeing effort as the path to mastery, and understanding that failure is not a stopping point, but rather a stepping stone.
I love that. Jim's success is something you attract by the person you become. That's such a powerful way to look at it. It shifts the focus away from external circumstances and puts it back on personal responsibility and growth. Now, I know that this idea of the growth mindset isn't just theoretical for you. You've lived it, and I'm sure you've seen it transform the lives of many others. Could you share some examples or personal stories that really illustrate the power of this mindset in action?
Absolutely, Matt. There are countless examples, but let me share a couple that stand out. One of the first stories that comes to mind is about a young man I met early in my career. He was working a low-paying job, feeling frustrated and stuck in life. He had what we would call a fixed mindset. He believed that he wasn't smart enough, that success was reserved for other people, and that his circumstances were beyond his control. But something remarkable happened. I sat down with him and we talked about this very concept, the growth mindset. I told him, you don't have to accept your current situation as your final destination. You can learn new skills, you can develop new habits, and you can change the trajectory of your life. At first he was skeptical, but he started to open his mind to the possibility that maybe, just maybe, he could improve. This young man decided to take the leap. He started investing in himself, reading books, attending seminars, learning from mentors. Slowly but surely his mindset shifted. Instead of seeing obstacles, he began to see opportunities. Instead of avoiding challenges, he faced them head on, knowing that even if he failed, he would learn something valuable in the process. Within a few years, he transformed his life completely. He went from working a low-wage job to building his own business, becoming financially independent, and most importantly, becoming a lifelong learner. He embraced the philosophy that success is not something you chase, it's something you attract by becoming more valuable. That's the power of the growth mindset, Matt. It's about who you become in the process of striving for your goals.
Wow, Jim, that's an incredible story. It's amazing how a simple shift in mindset can create such profound changes in a person's life. And I love what you said about how success is something you attract by becoming more valuable. It makes me think of something you often talk about, the idea that working harder on yourself than you do on your job is the key to success.
Exactly, Matt. You've hit the nail on the head. If you work hard on your job, you can make a living. But if you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune. A growth mindset is all about working hard on yourself, your skills, your knowledge, your character. And another example that comes to mind is a personal story from my own life. When I was just starting out, I wasn't always the man you see here today. In fact, I was broke, in debt, and living with excuses. I had what you might call a fixed mindset back then. I thought that my situation was set in stone, that I was destined for mediocrity because of my upbringing and circumstances. But then I met a man who became my mentor, Earl Schoaf. Earl taught me the importance of personal development, and he introduced me to the idea of the growth mindset long before it became a popular term. He told me, Jim, if you want to have more, you have to become more. For things to change, you have to change. That was a turning point for me. I realized that my future was not dictated by my past or my present. It was dictated by my willingness to grow, to learn, and to improve.
That's such a powerful message, Jim. For things to change, you have to change. It's like the entire concept of the growth mindset summed up in one sentence. It reminds me of so many people I've encountered who feel stuck, who feel like they're trapped in their circumstances, but they don't realize that the key to their freedom lies in their willingness to change and grow.
That's exactly right, Matt. Too often we look outside of ourselves for the answers, blaming our environment, our upbringing, or our current situation. But the truth is, the power to change starts from within. A growth mindset gives you the ability to take control of your life, to shape your future by investing in your own development. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it.
I couldn't agree more, Jim. The idea that growth comes from within is so empowering. And I think that's why so many people resonate with your message. It's about taking responsibility for your own growth, no matter where you are or where you've come from.
Exactly, Matt. And once you embrace that mindset, everything starts to shift. You start seeing opportunities where you used to see obstacles. You start taking action instead of waiting for things to happen. And most importantly, you start to believe that you are capable of so much more than you ever thought possible.
Jim, these stories and insights are incredible. I think what's so powerful about the growth mindset, it's not about being perfect or getting everything right the first time. It's about believing in the process of learning and growing, even through failure.
Absolutely, Matt. In fact, failure is often the greatest teacher. With a growth mindset, you understand that failure isn't final. It's part of the journey. Every setback, every mistake is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to come back stronger. The key is to keep moving forward, keep learning, and keep growing.
Such powerful words, Jim. And I know our listeners are going to take so much from this conversation. The growth mindset isn't just a theory, it's a way of life, and it can transform anyone's future if they're willing to embrace it.
It truly can, Matt. And that's why it's so important for people to understand that their potential is not fixed. It's limitless. All it takes is the willingness to grow, to learn, and to keep striving for better.
Jim, we've just talked about the concept of the growth mindset and how embracing it can really change the trajectory of one's life. But there's a key element in all of this that I think we need to explore: self-belief. How important is it, in your opinion, for someone to truly believe in themselves when they're adopting a growth mindset? And how does that belief shape their journey?
Matt, that's an excellent question, and the truth is, self-belief is absolutely fundamental to a growth mindset. In fact, without a deep sense of self-confidence, even the best strategies, plans, and opportunities can fall flat. You see, a growth mindset opens the door to possibility, but it's self-belief that gives you the courage to walk through that door. I've often said that if you don't believe in your ability to change, to grow, or to succeed, then no amount of external motivation or education will help you. Self-belief is like the soil in which the seeds of a growth mindset are planted. If the soil isn't fertile, those seeds won't grow. They'll struggle and eventually wither away. Now, here's something important to understand. Self-belief isn't something you're born with. It's something you cultivate, just like any other skill. Some people might think that confidence is a natural trait that only a lucky few possess. But in my experience, anyone can develop self-confidence. It's built over time, through small wins, consistent effort, and a willingness to push through challenges.
Jim, that's such a powerful perspective, especially the idea that self-belief is cultivated over time. But for those listening who may feel like they're starting from a place of doubt or insecurity, where do they begin? How does someone go from having little to no confidence to truly believing in themselves?
Matt, that's an important question, and it's one I've faced many times with people I've coached. The first step in building self-belief is awareness. You have to recognize the negative beliefs that are holding you back. Many people carry around limiting beliefs like, I'm not smart enough, I'm not talented enough, or I've failed before, so I'll fail again. These beliefs act as invisible chains, keeping you stuck. The moment you become aware of these beliefs, you can start to challenge them. Now, here's a practical tip for developing self-belief. Start with small wins. You don't have to tackle the biggest challenge in your life right away. Begin with something manageable. Set a small goal, something you can accomplish within a short time frame, and then follow through on it. When you achieve that small goal, it gives you a boost in confidence. It's proof that you can do what you set your mind to. Confidence is built through consistency. Every time you follow through on a commitment to yourself, no matter how small, you're strengthening your belief in your own abilities. And over time, these small wins add up. They compound, just like interest in a bank account. Before you know it, you've built a foundation of self-belief that allows you to take on bigger challenges.
I love that idea, Jim, starting with small wins. It's such an actionable and attainable approach. I think sometimes people get overwhelmed because they're trying to make a massive leap in confidence, but what you're saying is that it's really about taking it step by step. Now, you've coached so many successful individuals over the years. Do you have any examples of how some of them have built their self-belief from scratch?
Matt, I've had the privilege of working with many people from all walks of life: entrepreneurs, athletes, everyday individuals, and the common thread among those who succeed is their ability to build self-belief. Let me share a story with you. There was a young woman I worked with several years ago. When we first met, she was full of self-doubt. She was extremely talented, but she didn't see it. She had been passed over for promotions at work, and her confidence had taken a hit. She felt like no matter how hard she tried, she just wasn't good enough. Sound familiar? Now, the first thing we did was identify her limiting beliefs. She had internalized the idea that she wasn't leadership material, that she didn't have what it took to succeed at a higher level. Once we identified that, the next step was to start rebuilding her self-belief brick by brick. I asked her to start with a small goal, something she could achieve quickly. For her, it was volunteering to lead a small project at work. She was hesitant at first, but I reminded her it's not about being perfect, it's about taking action. She took on the project, and guess what? She excelled. That small win gave her the confidence to take on another challenge. Over the next several months, she continued setting small, achievable goals, each one building her confidence little by little. Within a year, she was promoted not just because of her talent, but because of her newfound belief in herself.
That's such an inspiring story, Jim. It really illustrates how confidence is something you can build over time with the right mindset and approach. And I think a lot of people listening today can relate to that feeling of self-doubt, but hearing stories like this can help them realize that they're not stuck, that they can change their narrative.
Exactly, Matt. And that's the beauty of self-belief. It's not fixed. Just like a growth mindset, self-confidence can be developed. And once you have that belief in yourself, it becomes a powerful force. It enables you to take risks, to persevere through challenges, and to achieve things you never thought possible. One more practical tip for your listeners: surround yourself with positive influences. The people you spend time with can either build your self-belief or tear it down. If you're constantly around negativity, it's going to be difficult to maintain confidence. But if you surround yourself with people who uplift you, who believe in you, and who encourage your growth, you'll find it much easier to believe in yourself.
That's such an important reminder, Jim. The environment we place ourselves in plays a huge role in our mindset and confidence. And I think it's something we often overlook. So for anyone listening right now, take a look at who you're surrounding yourself with. Are they helping you build your self-belief, or are they holding you back?
That's right, Matt. The people in your life can either water your growth or stunt it. Choose carefully. And remember, self-belief is a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes.
Jim, we've talked a lot about the importance of self-belief and how crucial it is to building a growth mindset. But let's be honest, no matter how strong someone's belief in themselves, they're going to face challenges and setbacks along the way. Obstacles are inevitable. What are some of the common hurdles you've seen that people encounter when trying to adopt a growth mindset? And how can they push through those difficult moments without giving up?
Matt, you're absolutely right. Challenges are inevitable. And the truth is, it's not the challenges themselves that define us, but how we respond to them. Everyone who sets out on a journey of growth, whether in business, relationships, or personal development, will face setbacks. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But here's the key: setbacks are not stop signs, they're learning opportunities. They're stepping stones. One of the most common obstacles people face when adopting a growth mindset is the fear of failure. This fear can be paralyzing, especially if someone has experienced failure before. They think, what if I try and fail again? Or what if I'm just not cut out for this? And that's where many people stop. They don't even try because they're afraid of what might happen if they don't succeed right away. But here's what people need to understand: failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of success. Every failure teaches you something, and every setback gives you an opportunity to grow stronger. You see, a growth mindset embraces failure. It doesn't shy away from it. People with a growth mindset look at failure and say, what can I learn from this? How can this experience make me better? I've seen it time and time again, Matt. People who face tremendous challenges, who experience devastating failures, but they don't give up. Instead, they use those failures as fuel for their growth. One of the most powerful things you can do in life is to reframe failure. Instead of seeing it as a reflection of your limitations, see it as a necessary part of your learning process.
Jim, that's so true. I think a lot of people hear about the importance of learning from failure, but when they're in the middle of it, when everything feels like it's falling apart, it's hard to see it as a stepping stone. How do you help people shift their mindset in the midst of failure? What techniques can they use to keep moving forward when it feels like everything's against them?
Matt, that's a great question. And it's something a lot of people struggle with. The first thing I tell people is that when you're in the middle of a setback, you have to pause and reflect. Instead of reacting emotionally, feeling frustrated, angry, or defeated, take a step back and ask yourself, what is this challenge trying to teach me? Most people want to get out of a tough situation as quickly as possible. But if you don't take the time to learn from it, you're going to repeat the same mistakes. One of the techniques I teach is something I call the growth audit. When you experience a setback, take a moment to audit the situation. Ask yourself these 3 questions. What went wrong? What could I have done differently? And what will I do next time? This simple reflection process turns failure into a lesson, and that's what keeps you moving forward.
I love that. What will I do next time? It shifts the focus from what went wrong to what you can improve. It's a proactive way of dealing with setbacks instead of just wallowing in them. I think a lot of people listening today can take that technique and apply it immediately.
Exactly, Matt. And here's the thing: everyone experiences failure. Some of the most successful people in the world have faced monumental setbacks. But what sets them apart is their ability to learn from those setbacks. Let me share a story that illustrates this. There was a man I worked with years ago, an entrepreneur who started a small business. He poured his heart and soul into it, but after a few years, the business failed. He lost everything: his savings, his confidence, his belief in himself. He came to me feeling completely defeated. He said, "Jim, I tried and I failed. Maybe I'm just not cut out for this." I told him, "Listen, the fact that you failed doesn't mean you're not cut out for success. It means you learned something. The question is, what are you going to do with that lesson?" We went through the growth audit together, and he realized that there were specific things he could have done differently. Instead of letting that failure define him, he used it as a stepping stone. He started a new business, applied the lessons he had learned, and within a few years, he was more successful than he ever imagined.
That's such a powerful example, Jim. It really shows that failure isn't the end, it's a new beginning if you approach it with the right mindset. And that entrepreneur story highlights how important it is to learn from those tough moments. But I'm curious, how do you help people stay motivated when they're in the middle of those tough times, before they've had the chance to reflect and learn from their failures?
Matt, the middle of a setback is often the hardest place to be. You're feeling the weight of the failure, and it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. One of the most important things you can do in those moments is to focus on the long-term vision. When you're going through a tough time, remind yourself that this is just one chapter in a much larger story. The story isn't over yet. I also encourage people to take things one step at a time. Don't try to solve everything all at once. Focus on the next right step. What's the one thing you can do today to move forward? It might be a small action, but it's still progress. And progress, no matter how small, keeps you moving forward. Over time, those small steps add up, and you'll find yourself in a much better place.
I think that's such a key point, focusing on the long-term vision and taking it one step at a time. It's easy to get overwhelmed when things aren't going your way, but remembering that every small action counts can really help you stay motivated. Jim, we've touched on failure and overcoming setbacks, and those are such critical parts of the journey. But one thing I've always admired about you, and something I've heard you talk about frequently, is the importance of continuous learning. The idea that we never stop growing, that there's always something more to learn, no matter how much we've achieved. Can you share your philosophy on lifelong learning and how it plays into the growth mindset?
Matt, I truly believe that learning is the foundation of all personal growth. The day we stop learning is the day we stop living, at least in the fullest sense of the word. I've always said formal education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. You see, it's the ability to keep learning that separates those who merely survive from those who truly thrive. And this idea of continuous learning isn't just about acquiring new skills, it's about constantly evolving as a person. Think about it this way: life is always moving forward, always changing. The world around us is evolving every single day. And if we want to keep up, if we want to lead, to innovate, to excel, we have to commit ourselves to being lifelong learners. That's the growth mindset in action, understanding that no matter how much you know, there's always more to learn. No matter how successful you become, there's always another level you can reach. One of the most important things I've learned in my life is that success isn't about reaching a destination. It's about who you become on the journey. And the only way you continue to grow as a person is by continuing to learn about yourself, about the world, about your craft, and about the people around you. Continuous learning is like oxygen for your mind. It keeps you sharp, curious, and ready to adapt to whatever life throws your way.
Jim, that's such a powerful way of looking at it. I think a lot of people might feel like once they've achieved a certain level of success, they can relax, that the learning process is somehow finished. But what you're saying is that real success, lasting success, comes from never being satisfied with what you know. It's about constantly striving to learn more, do more, and be more. Is that right?
Exactly, Matt. One of the greatest dangers in life is becoming complacent. You see, when you stop learning, you stop growing. And when you stop growing, you start declining. It's like the old saying goes, if you're not moving forward, you're moving backward. There's no standing still in life. The moment you think you know everything, that's the moment you start falling behind. That's why the most successful people in the world, whether it's in business, sports, the arts, or any other field, are lifelong learners. They understand that to stay at the top of their game, they have to keep improving, keep refining their skills, and keep seeking out new knowledge. Take someone like Bill Gates, for example. Even after becoming one of the richest men in the world, he's still reading constantly, still learning. He understands that learning is the key to staying ahead, no matter how successful you become. Let me share a story with you. Early in my career, I was fortunate enough to have a mentor who taught me the importance of continuous learning. His name was Earl Schoep. Earl was a multimillionaire, a great businessman, and a wise man. I was in my 20s at the time, and I thought I knew everything I needed to know. But Earl showed me that the world was much bigger than I realized, and that if I wanted to achieve real success, I had to make learning a daily habit. He told me something I'll never forget. He said, Jim, if you want to have more, you have to become more. And the only way to become more is to keep learning. That was a turning point for me. From that moment on, I committed myself to continuous learning, reading books, attending seminars, seeking out mentors, and constantly challenging myself to grow. And I can tell you, Matt, that decision changed the course of my life.
Jim, that's incredible. And I think it speaks to something a lot of people need to hear, that no matter where you are in life, no matter how much success you've achieved, there's always more to learn. I've experienced that in my own life as well. When I first started out, I was eager to learn, but once I hit a certain level of success, I found myself getting comfortable. It wasn't until I pushed myself to keep learning and growing that I was able to take things to the next level.
Exactly, Matt. And that's the thing, it's easy to get comfortable once you've reached a certain level of success. But the true achievers, the people who make a lasting impact, are the ones who never stop learning. They understand that learning isn't just about accumulating knowledge, it's about transformation. It's about constantly refining who you are so you can meet the challenges of tomorrow. Continuous learning isn't just about gaining new skills or information. It's about becoming the kind of person who can handle greater responsibility, face bigger challenges, and seize bigger opportunities. It's about preparing yourself for the next level even before you know what that next level looks like.
Jim, I love what you said about learning being a form of transformation. I think that's something everyone can take away from this conversation, whether you're just starting out or you've already achieved a lot in life. There's always room to grow, always something new to learn. And that's what keeps life exciting, right? The fact that we're never done growing.
Absolutely, Matt. Life is an ongoing process of becoming. And the beauty of it is that you get to choose who you become every single day. Every new piece of knowledge, every new skill, every new experience you gain brings you closer to the person you're meant to be.
Jim, we've talked about the importance of continuous learning and the power of a growth mindset, but I think there's another critical element we need to address: taking ownership of our lives. It seems like this is a foundational piece of personal growth. What are your thoughts on the relationship between personal responsibility and the growth mindset?
Matt, taking ownership of your life is absolutely essential. It's the cornerstone personal development. The moment you accept full responsibility for where you are in your life is the moment you unlock your potential for growth. When you point fingers at external circumstances, you give away your power. You become a victim of your circumstances rather than a master of your destiny. I often say you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. That speaks to the importance of your environment and choices. However, you must realize that you have the power to change your environment, your relationships, and ultimately your life. It starts with taking full responsibility for your actions, your decisions, and your results. When you do that, you begin to take charge of your growth.
That makes so much sense, Jim. I think a lot of people struggle with this concept, especially when life throws unexpected challenges their way. They might feel that their circumstances dictate their future. Can you share some practical steps on how individuals can start taking ownership of their lives today?
Absolutely, Matt. The first step is acknowledging that you are in control of your life. Here are a few actionable steps anyone can take to start embracing personal responsibility. Set clear goals. Start by defining what you want in different areas of your life: personal, professional, financial, and so on. Clear goals provide direction and a sense of purpose. Own your choices. Reflect on your past decisions. Understand that every choice you make shapes your future. Rather than blaming others or circumstances, acknowledge your role in the outcomes you experience. Practice self-reflection. Take time to regularly assess your life. Ask yourself questions like, what went well today? And what could I have done differently? This self-reflection helps you learn from experiences and grow. Take action. Once you've identified areas for improvement, take immediate steps to make changes. It could be as simple as reading a book, starting a new exercise routine, or reaching out to someone for guidance. Surround yourself with positive influences. Your environment matters. Seek out individuals who inspire and motivate you. Their energy will encourage you to take ownership of your life as well. Be accountable. Share your goals with someone who can hold you accountable. When you commit to someone else, it becomes easier to follow through on your promises to yourself.
Those are fantastic tips, Jim. I especially love the idea of self-reflection. I think that's something a lot of people overlook. It's so easy to get caught up in the hustle of daily life and forget to check in with ourselves. For me, I've found that taking time to reflect on my actions and decisions has really helped me understand where I want to go next.
Absolutely, Matt. Self-reflection is key. I have a practice of journaling every day. It allows me to reflect on my goals, assess my progress, and hold myself accountable. I encourage everyone to find a method that works for them, whether it's journaling, meditation, or even talking it out with a friend. What's important is that you create a space for self-discovery and growth.
I love that idea. I've recently started journaling and it's been a game changer for me. It helps me clarify my thoughts and recognize patterns in my behavior. I think it's empowering to see your growth on paper, right? It makes you realize how far you've come and how much control you really have over your journey.
Exactly, Matt. And remember, taking ownership doesn't mean you won't face challenges or setbacks. It means you'll face them with a sense of empowerment. When you take responsibility, you also gain the ability to change your narrative. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and start viewing challenges as opportunities for growth. But think about it this way. Every successful person I know has faced adversity. The difference is how they responded. They took ownership of their situation, learned from their mistakes, and moved forward with newfound wisdom. It's all part of the journey of growth.
That's such an important distinction, Jim. It's about transforming our mindset from one of blame to one of empowerment. It reminds me of a quote I once heard: "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." That really encapsulates the essence of taking ownership.
Exactly. That quote resonates perfectly with what we're discussing. It's about how we choose to respond to life's challenges. Taking ownership means you have the power to change your story at any moment. You don't have to be defined by your circumstances. You can redefine yourself every single day.
Jim, thank you for sharing these insights. Taking ownership is such a powerful theme in personal growth, and I know our audience is going to resonate with this message. It's about empowerment, learning, and taking actionable steps toward a better life. I hope everyone listening today feels inspired to start taking ownership of their lives and embrace their growth journey.
Thank you, Matt. It's been a pleasure discussing this vital aspect of the growth mindset. Remember, everyone in your life is your responsibility, and it's never too late to take charge of your destiny.
Jim, we've touched on the significance of taking ownership of our lives, and now I think it's the perfect time to discuss goal setting. How does a growth mindset play a role in effectively setting and achieving goals?
Great question, Matt. Setting goals is foundational to personal growth, and a growth mindset is the engine that drives the entire process. A growth mindset allows you to see challenges as opportunities and setbacks as lessons rather than obstacles. When you approach your goals with this mindset, you're more likely to push through difficulties and stay committed to your vision. Now, let's break down the process. First, it's essential to set meaningful goals, those that resonate with your core values and aspirations. When your goals are tied to your passions and purpose, you'll find the motivation to pursue them relentlessly. Ask yourself, what do I truly want to achieve? And why is it important to me? These questions help you uncover goals that inspire you.
I love that idea, Jim, but once someone identifies their meaningful goals, what's the next step? How do they ensure they stay on track to achieve them?
Excellent point, Matt. After setting meaningful goals, it's crucial to have a clear plan of action. Break down each goal into smaller, manageable steps. This makes the journey less overwhelming and gives you a roadmap to follow. Remember, it's not about making massive leaps, it's about taking consistent, purposeful actions every day. Visualization is another powerful tool in this process. I encourage everyone to visualize their goals as if they've already achieved them. Picture yourself living that reality, feel the emotions, see the details. This mental rehearsal primes your mind for success and helps build the belief that you can achieve what you set out to do.
Visualization is something I've found incredibly powerful in my own journey. A few years ago, I set a goal to become a better public speaker, and I started visualizing myself confidently speaking to large audiences. Every day, I would picture the stage, the lights, and the audience cheering. That not only motivated me, but also prepared me mentally for those moments when they finally came.
Exactly, Matt. Visualization combined with action is a dynamic duo. After you visualize, you must take tangible steps toward your goals. Every action you take reinforces your belief in your ability to succeed. It creates a positive feedback loop that fuels your growth mindset.
So, Jim, what happens when people encounter setbacks or challenges while pursuing their goals? How can they maintain their growth mindset in those moments?
Setbacks are a natural part of any journey, Matt. The key is to reframe your perspective. Instead of viewing setbacks as failures, see them as stepping stones to success. Each challenge teaches you something valuable, whether it's a lesson in perseverance, a new skill, or an understanding of what doesn't work. This is where the growth mindset shines. It helps you pivot and adapt rather than give up.
I think that's such an important message. It's so easy to get discouraged when things don't go as planned. But recognizing that setbacks are part of the process can really shift how we approach challenges.
Absolutely. Resilience is key. When you embrace a growth mindset, you understand that every setback is an opportunity to grow stronger. Remember, it's not the setback that defines you, it's how you respond to it. Keep your focus on the end goal and stay committed to your vision. Those who succeed are often the ones who refuse to quit, no matter how many times they stumble.
That's incredibly empowering, Jim. It's a reminder that the path to success is rarely a straight line. It's filled with twists and turns, but with a growth mindset, we can navigate those challenges and come out stronger on the other side.
Exactly, Matt. So as you set your goals and work toward them, remember to embrace the journey. Celebrate small victories along the way, and don't be afraid to adjust your plans as you learn and grow. That's the essence of living with a growth mindset.
Thank you, Jim, for sharing your insights on setting and achieving goals with a growth mindset. I know our listeners will walk away inspired to take action and embrace their journeys. Let's all remember that goal setting is just the beginning. It's the relentless pursuit and the lessons learned along the way that truly matter. Jim, as we explore the growth mindset, I think it's essential to address a challenge many face: staying disciplined and consistent in our personal growth journeys. Why do you believe discipline and consistency are so crucial?
Great question, Matt. Discipline is the bridge between our goals and their achievement. It's not enough to have dreams and aspirations. You need the discipline to act on them consistently. Discipline keeps you on the path, especially when motivation wanes or when the initial excitement fades. It's the daily commitment to your growth, even when it feels challenging. Think of it this way: every successful person you admire has cultivated discipline in their lives. They have learned to say no to distractions and yes to their priorities. When you approach your personal growth with discipline, you create a framework that allows you to thrive. It's about establishing habits that serve your long-term vision, even if those habits seem small or insignificant at first.
I love that analogy, Jim, but how can someone begin to develop discipline in their daily lives? It often feels daunting when trying to change established habits.
Absolutely, Matt. The key is to start small. Begin by identifying 1 or 2 specific habits you want to develop. For example, if you aim to read more, set a goal to read just 10 pages a day. That's manageable and doesn't overwhelm you. The important part is consistency, showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. Over time, these small actions compound, leading to significant results.
Also, create a routine that supports your goals. When you integrate habits into your daily life, whether it's exercising, reading, or journaling, you're more likely to stick with them. A routine acts as a stabilizing force that keeps you grounded, especially during chaotic times.
Creating a routine has certainly helped me. When I started my journey in personal growth, I struggled with consistency. I'd go all in for a few weeks, then lose momentum. But establishing a daily routine made a huge difference. I scheduled time for learning and reflection, and it transformed how I approached my goals.
That's a perfect example, Matt. It's about finding what works for you and sticking to it. Now let's talk about accountability. Surrounding yourself with supportive people who encourage your growth can significantly enhance your discipline. Share your goals with a friend or join a group that focuses on personal development. The accountability will help you stay committed and provide motivation on tough days.
How important do you think accountability is in fostering discipline? Do you have any stories about how it has made a difference for you or someone you've coached?
Accountability can be a game changer. I once worked with a group of entrepreneurs who all had different goals but met weekly to discuss their progress. The first few weeks were challenging. People struggled with sticking to their commitments. But over time, they began to hold each other accountable. They celebrated wins together and supported each other through setbacks. The discipline they developed in those meetings extended beyond the group, translating into their daily lives.
It's incredible how that community aspect can create a ripple effect in our lives. We often underestimate how much we can achieve with the right support.
Exactly, Matt. When you share your goals with others, you create a sense of responsibility. It's much harder to let down a group than to let down yourself. Remember, discipline is about building habits, and those habits must be reinforced daily. Consistency is what makes the difference between dreams and reality.
Thank you, Jim, for shedding light on the role of discipline and consistency in achieving a growth mindset. I believe our listeners will take away valuable lessons on how to cultivate these essential qualities in their own lives. It's a reminder that while the journey may be challenging, the rewards of discipline and consistency are truly transformative.
Thank you, Matt. Remember, each day is a new opportunity to strengthen your discipline and commit to your growth. Embrace the journey and keep moving forward.
Jim, as we continue our discussion on the growth mindset, I want to delve into a concept that often goes hand in hand with it: resilience. How do you see resilience tying into the growth mindset?
Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks and challenges. In the context of a growth mindset, it's about recognizing that difficulties are not just obstacles but opportunities for growth. Resilience helps us view adversity as a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. It allows us to adapt and learn from our experiences, ultimately leading to personal development. In tough times, it's easy to feel defeated, but those who cultivate resilience find ways to navigate through challenges. They learn to pick themselves up, dust themselves off, and keep moving forward. Resilience is not an innate trait. It's something that can be developed over time.
What are some effective strategies you recommend for developing resilience, Jim? How can our listeners maintain a positive mindset even in the face of adversity?
First and foremost, it's essential to cultivate a strong sense of purpose. When you have a clear vision of what you want to achieve, it becomes easier to navigate through challenges. Purpose acts as your anchor, helping you stay focused and motivated during tough times. Secondly, practice self-compassion. It's crucial to treat yourself with kindness when things go wrong. Acknowledge your feelings and allow yourself to process them without judgment. This doesn't mean wallowing in negativity. It's about recognizing that setbacks are a natural part of growth. Another effective strategy is to develop a strong support network. Surround yourself with people who uplift you and share your values. When you face difficulties, having a support system can provide encouragement, perspective, and even practical solutions. Remember, no one has to go through challenges alone.
I completely agree, Jim. Building a support network has been vital for me. I remember a particularly challenging time in my career when I faced significant setbacks. It was my friends and mentors who encouraged me to keep pushing forward. They helped me see the lessons in my failures.
Absolutely, Matt. Our experiences shape us, and sharing them with others can foster resilience. Another crucial aspect is developing a growth mindset itself, viewing challenges as learning opportunities. This perspective shifts how we react to adversity. Finally, practice mindfulness and stress management techniques. Mindfulness helps you stay present, reducing anxiety about the future. Techniques such as meditation, deep breathing, or even physical activity can enhance your mental and emotional resilience, allowing you to respond more effectively to challenges.
Can you share an example from your life or someone you've coached that illustrates the power of resilience?
Certainly, I remember a young entrepreneur who faced repeated failures with his business. Each time he launched a new idea, it seemed to fall flat. Instead of giving up, he chose to learn from each failure. He analyzed what went wrong, sought feedback, and adjusted his approach. Eventually, he found success by pivoting based on those lessons. His resilience not only led to a thriving business, but also transformed him into a more confident and capable leader.
That's a powerful reminder, Jim. It emphasizes how resilience isn't just about enduring hardships, but also about evolving through them. I think our listeners will find that incredibly motivating.
Exactly, Matt. Resilience is not the absence of difficulty, it's how we respond to those difficulties. When we embrace a growth mindset, we learn that every setback is a setup for a comeback. So let's encourage our listeners to embrace resilience as a core part of their journey toward personal growth.
Thank you, Jim, for shedding light on the crucial role of resilience in a growth mindset. Your wisdom on developing resilience will undoubtedly empower our listeners to face their challenges with renewed strength and perspective. Jim, as we approach the end of this enlightening conversation, I'd love to hear your final thoughts on the growth mindset. What key takeaways do you want our listeners to remember? And what advice would you offer them as they embark on their own journeys of growth?
Matt, it's been a pleasure sharing these insights with you and your audience. As we wrap up, I want to emphasize that adopting a growth mindset is truly a transformative journey. It's about believing in your capacity to learn, adapt, and overcome challenges. Remember, the way you think about your potential shapes the life you lead. First, I encourage everyone to embrace failure as a teacher. Every setback brings valuable lessons, so don't fear mistakes, learn from them. They are not the end, but a crucial part of your growth story. Shift your perspective to see challenges as opportunities to evolve and expand your horizons. Second, nurture your self-belief. Build a strong foundation of confidence in your abilities. It's essential to acknowledge your achievements, no matter how small they may seem. Every step forward is a victory worth celebrating. Surround yourself with positive influences and seek mentorship to bolster your belief in yourself. Also, I want to highlight the significance of lifelong learning. Cultivate a curious mindset. Read books, attend seminars, and engage in conversations that challenge your thinking. Continuous learning fuels personal growth and keeps your mind sharp and adaptable. And finally, take ownership of your life. Accountability is empowering. When you take responsibility for your choices and actions, you reclaim your power to create change. Don't wait for external circumstances to dictate your success. The power to transform your life lies within you. So as you step into each new day, remember that growth is a continuous process. Cultivate your mindset, believe in your potential, learn relentlessly, and take charge of your life. The journey is just as important as the destination, and every moment counts.
Thank you, Jim, for those inspiring final words. Your insights on the growth mindset will surely resonate with our listeners long after this episode ends. It's been an honor to have you on the show.
Thank you, Matt. It's been a joy to connect and share these ideas. Keep inspiring others to embrace their growth journeys.
To our listeners, thank you for joining us on this episode of the Growth Mindset Show. We hope you found Jim's wisdom as inspiring as we did. Remember, every day is an opportunity to grow. Embrace it, learn from it, and take action. Until next time, keep striving for greatness. Wow, what an incredible discussion we just had with Jim Rohn. His insights into the growth mindset truly empower us to take charge of our lives and embrace every challenge as an opportunity for growth. I hope you're feeling as inspired as I am right now. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this episode, it's the importance of adopting a growth mindset. Remember, every day presents a new opportunity to learn, evolve, and become the best version of yourself. So let's commit to that journey together. If you found value in today's episode, I invite you to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us reach more people with this empowering message. And don't forget to share this episode with friends and family who could benefit from Jim's wisdom. Let's spread the growth mindset far and wide. Be sure to follow us on our social media platforms. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, where we share daily motivation, tips, and behind-the-scenes content. Join our community and let's connect. We want to hear your stories of growth and resilience. And before we sign off, let me give you a sneak peek of what's coming up next. In our next episode, we'll be diving into the fascinating world of emotional intelligence and how it plays a crucial role in personal success. You won't want to miss it. Thank you once again for tuning in to the Growth Mindset Show. Remember, growth is a journey and we're all in this together. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep believing in yourself.